thank you for joining me here on Taya's Sweet Aroma. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the recipe for my white chocolate lemon cookies. The recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you today is one that I think any citrus lover would love. My husband's favorite desserts are lemon desserts, and these cookies, they are just filled with a ton of lemon flavor. Back when I was recipe testing the cookies, the problem that I kept coming across was the texture of the cookies. And for those of you that have worked with homemade cookie dough before, then you know that anytime you're adding in a liquid to a cookie dough, it just messes with like the whole science of it all. And baking is a science. And so my flavor I felt was spot on. It was just the texture. So what I decided to do, instead of taking out my lemon juice, I decided to play around with some of the other ingredients until I got the cookie to the texture that I think is perfect. Now, I do not use any food coloring in these cookies. If you want yours to have more of that vibrant yellow color to them, then you can go ahead and add some in. One of the other important things, probably the most important thing that I wanted to mention, was that the dough has to rest for at least 24 hours. Now, Lord willing, I get to show you even more of my cookie recipes, and you will notice that most of the doughs do require a 24-hour resting period in the fridge before you start baking them. And if you don't have 24 hours, overnight would be good as well, but I do recommend at least 24 hours. What that time period does is it allows the glutens in the dough to really rest, or I guess just completely settle. It allows all those other, just everything to just really have a chance to sort of marry together. Working with the colder dough, I've noticed instead of a room temperature dough, the cookies bake up a lot more evenly and just nicer for me. And so that's why I like doing it that way. So you can probably guess my dough is already in the refrigerator. I went ahead and got it all prepped and ready yesterday. While my oven is preheating and I'm getting my sheet pans prepped, I'm going to show you those clips of the ingredients as well as the steps. And as soon as I am done, we will get started baking the cookies. The ingredients you're going to need for these cookies is some cold unsalted butter, granulated sugar, eggs, lemon, salt, baking powder, baking soda, pure vanilla extract, white chocolate chips, and some all-purpose flour. Before you get your lemon's juice, you want to make sure to get them zested, because if you juice them first, it's going to be really hard to get the zest off. So that is what I am doing here. And I wanted to show you this step because, as you can see here, I only went over it with the microplane enough to get just the zest off. You don't want to get any of that white part in because it can make the cookies taste a bit bitter. So just going over it, getting the zest off is what you're looking to do. All the lemons have been zested. I'm now just getting the juice out. I'm using a juicer here. You can use whatever it is you have on hand. I also we'll just use one of these. You can just squeeze it by hand. Just make sure you remove any of the seeds and the pulp from your juice before you use it in the cookies. Gonna go ahead and get the rest of these juiced. To my bowl of flour, I'm gonna add in my salt, baking soda, and baking powder. Get it whisked in. I'm gonna set this aside so we can get started making the dough. To my stand mixer that has been fitted with the paddle attachment, I'm gonna add in my sugar. You can also do this with a handheld mixer if you don't have a stand mixer. Gonna add in my butter and also my lemon zest. And the way I like to measure it out, it's usually right around 4 smaller lemons is the amount of zest that I use. You can see it's not a level tablespoon. A heaping tablespoon is what I call for. If there's a little less, go ahead and add it in. It's just more flavor added into the dough. Gonna get it started to whisking. The reason I like to add in the zest at this point is because those sugar crystals are gonna help that zest to release even more of its oil into the dough once it all comes together. So that is why I like to add it in at this stage. I'm gonna go ahead and crank the mixer up so we can get it to come together into a more fluffier consistency. The butter, sugar, and zest has come together nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape down this bowl. Okay, that creaming process took about, well, it can take anywhere from about 5 to 7 minutes to get it to this consistency. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the mixer back on to about medium-low. Begin slowly adding in the egg. Along with the vanilla. I'm gonna crank the mixer up a bit and allow it all to come together until it's light and fluffy. That has come together nicely. Gonna give the bowl another scrape down. Turning the mixer back on to a low speed as I slowly start adding in the flour mixture. As you're adding in the flour, you want to stop in between. Allow each batch to get somewhat incorporated in with the rest of the batter. This is the last bit of flour. And it is now that I'm going to go ahead and add in my freshly squeezed lemon juice, just drizzling it in slowly. And lastly, the white chocolate chips. Now I'm going to go ahead and give the bowl and paddle a quick scrape down. If there's any more flour left in the bowl, I'm going to use the spatula to combine it. That way I don't overmix the batter. Okay, I now have all the dough in this bowl. I'm gonna get it covered with some plastic wrap, put the lid on it, allow it to rest in the fridge, and then tomorrow I can get it baked up. In this container, I have my cookie dough that had been resting in the fridge. I'm just using an ice cream scoop to get out some of the dough, and you will notice once it's had a chance to stay in the fridge, it will start to firm up on you. I like to use an ice cream scoop because it helps the dough come out a lot more evenly. Once I get done scooping out the cookie dough, I like to take some of the reserved chocolate chips and putting them on top. That way when they bake, they show up on the top of the cookie. Now it's a step you can skip and just add all the chips into the dough, but I think it makes them look really pretty, so I like to do it this way. Okay, that looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these cookies, place them into my oven that has been preheated, and I will show you what they look like when they're done. The cookies are now done. I'm gonna take my parchment paper and remove them immediately onto a cooling rack. I'm gonna allow them to sit on the cooling rack and cool, and once they've cooled, I'll show you what they look like on the inside. The cookies have had a chance to cool completely. I wanted to go ahead and show you the inside of it so you can see the texture I was talking about. Nice cookie crumble on the inside, still really soft, very, very soft in the center, not cake-like, cookie-like. So wanted to give you a look at that. I'm gonna give the cookie a try now. It smells super lemony. Someone's begging for a piece. Is it good? Super moist on the inside. So good. That white chocolate helps to add a bit more of a sweet taste to the cookie. Help balance some of that tartness. Get a glass of milk. Have yourself a snack. Eat them for dessert, however you choose to eat them. They are so good. Anyhow, I thank you for spending time with me here today. Be sure to give these cookies a try. I think it's one you're gonna love. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.